man, I just want to say a special thanks to all of the SuperDoge family for coming in, being a part, and for taking a proactive approach to solving some big problems, not only here in the United States but globally around the world. Water's Life is a nonprofit. We are 501c3, started a little over 15 years ago. Um, the interesting story of how it was founded is I was standing naked in a shower in Nairobi. Now, I know that is an ugly mental picture for an old guy like me, but I'm watching the water go down the drain after being up in northern Kenya, South Sudan for a couple of weeks, not having a shower. And I'm watching that shower water warm up, and it hits me like a ton of bricks. Ken, water is life here. The people would give anything to have the water you're just letting go down the drain. At that point, I was headed back home. I went ahead and got a good shower, but I uh, I was processing so many things. The reality that people live with there is totally different than what we experience here. We had taken a big old container of water along with us in the back of a truck, and we'd fill up water bottles for kids along the way. They would be begging for water, and they'd run back to their little hut like they had gold. I mean, it was one of those things that just, it was overwhelming when you see that kind of thing. But probably the thing that got me the most was I was talking with the little lady. Her little boy was about a year and a half old, and I love kids. I've got a bunch of grandkids, and so children are a real passion of ours. My wife and I are both education backgrounds, so we are passionate about taking care of kids, and they're the most vulnerable. But I'm teasing him and getting him to laugh, and I asking the mom some questions through an interpreter, and I asked her the dumbest question I guess she'd ever been asked. I asked, "What's his name?" And she got this real question look when the interpreter gave her the question, and uh, she rattled something off, and the interpreter just kind of dropped his head. He goes, Ken, the the boy doesn't have a name. They just call him Boy or Blessing. He's not old enough to have a name. I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "He probably won't live." See, the reality in sub-Saharan Africa is 1 in 5 children will die before they reach the age of 5. So in some areas, with some of the different groups, they don't even name their kids. As I'm processing all of that, watching the water go down the drain, I said, I've got to do something. There was an old Jewish rabbi that made the statement, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? And that question just haunted me. So made it back to the States, talked to some friends. A couple months later, drilled my first well, and we're now in 47 countries around the world with water, sanitation, hygiene, providing water filtration, dealing with water quality issues, and then we also deal with water scarcity issues by doing rainwater capture, uh, uh, treatment of wastewater. In fact, I'm at a wastewater demonstration right now with one of our big units that we're debuting for a wastewater treatment plant today here in Oklahoma. We are working with some of the Native American tribes here in the United States. We were just at a big conference with them last week and showed them this same unit, and they're wanting to get their different housing areas able to be able to treat the wastewater, and we're able to do that through some pretty remarkable technology. But for us, it's really about the kids. Today, there'll be 6,000 people die because they don't have safe drinking water. 5,000 of them are kids. So we do a lot of work with schools and orphanages, community centers, churches, those kind of groups where people, and especially children, are naturally there together. And so that's our passion. We have everything from a little straw filter for kids to carry with them, put them in their backpack. That'll provide 500 liters of water a day, or the lifetime of the filter, which is about a year's worth of water or more for a child. I've drank out of rivers, creeks, streams, mud holes, toilets on the national news, you name it, and have not had any trouble with them at all. So it's been a lot of fun with that small filter. It's an emergency. It's a Band-Aid for us to be able then to come in with a sustainable solution that would provide sustainable water, whether that's drilling a well or providing some of our cutting edge technology. In the next couple of months, we'll be releasing a new atmospheric water generator that, unlike other atmospheric water generators on the market, will produce about 500 gallons or about 2,000 liters of water every day. And it'll work in environments that are different from what the current technology is able to support. And it will run off grid, which is not supported by current technology as well. So we're really excited about it. You can find out more about it from our website as we begin to publish some things. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that too. So you can chase us down there. But that's how Water's Life began. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at a couple of the videos that we recently did. I just returned a couple of weeks ago from Ghana and Kenya, where we dedicated 2 wells that we did in Ghana, and then 3 wells that we just completed in Kenya for communities there. One of those wells there is on a 40-foot tower and distributes water into 2 different kiosks, one close to the water source, and then one about 100 meters or 1,000 meters away from that first kiosk to a second one at the community center, where people are able to go in and get the water that they are desperately needing. So it's been it's an amazing journey, whether we're doing filtration or whether we're drilling water or excavation. Water truly is life, because man has gravitated toward water since the dawn of time, because that's the only way we can live. You can live 3 minutes without air. You can live 3 days without water. And those are the 2 most essential things that we have for us as human beings. But that's a little bit of the background. We're currently we're in over 47 countries, as I mentioned earlier, around the world, and I'm blessed to have some great team on the ground. We're mainly volunteers. One of the things that differentiates us between other charities and that are doing water is we want people to go with us. And so my encouragement to the Doge SuperDoge family is, think about when you're ready to travel. Contact me, and let's put a trip together with the SuperDoge family to do some projects in country of our choosing. Currently on the docket, we have 2 teams going into Kenya later on this year. I'll be back in Puerto Rico. We've been doing a lot of work down in Puerto Rico, providing our solar-powered, wind-powered water treatment plants that do about 20,000 liters of water, about 500 gallons of water per day, that will are in the mountain areas where there's no power, and the water resources are pretty limited. But we are able to treat that water and be able to get it safe for the people to be able to survive there. One of the interesting things that happened in Puerto Rico right after the hurricane was we had one lady, she was in her 60s, and we installed one of those water treatment systems, and she came out. She says, you know, I've lived here all of my life, and we have never had safe drinking water. We've had to go buy it or just boil it for what we have. And so those kind of things are really eye-opening. Even in developed countries, we see that there are some issues. In the United States, just for your information, there's 110 million people. That's a third of the United States that are living with lead levels that exceed EPA standards. If you're interested in finding out about what's in your water in your local community, you can go to a website. It's called ewg.org. It's also on our website. You can put in your zip code. You can find out what exactly is in your water, and it will scare the bejesus out of you. I promise you that. Pretty interesting things that we put in the water to kind of make it better. And it's not really helping us out at all. Where I live, we've got what we thought was great water, but there are 6 carcinogens that are added to the water that are present in the water, but they are right below the levels that are acceptable by the EPA. So it's interesting when you look at your water source here in your community, then your eyes may be open as well to what is actually being done in your water. What I wanted to do is, I know I've talked my allotted amount of time. I wanted to open it up for questions, comments, any kind of snide remarks you want to make. Fire away.
in regards to which countries you guys go to support and kind of work in, how is that decided, Ken? Is that something that was a pretty strategic, basically list that you guys started with, or is it something that you kind of go where you're needed, or how do you guys decide which countries to start helping and be part of?
You bet, Keith. That's a great question. We typically will have people in country that either groups or organizations that we partner with, and then on our own projects we have in-country people that are volunteers that help us with discovering the communities and developing a program for them. We also do sanitation and hygiene training. So, I can bring safe water into an area, but unless we teach them how to take care of the water and how to take care of themselves, it can be for naught. So we try to make sure that we incorporate training with everything that we do. But strategically, what we do is we try to pick those areas of the greatest need. Currently, this year, our focus is going to be mainly Kenya. We'll do some volunteer trips into some other areas, but our main focus is going to be Kenya this year. We do have projects that are working in South America and Central America as well, in Brazil, in Chile. We're also working with some communities there in the mining areas that have been heavily impacted by the mining industry to clean up their water as well. We are still working in Mexico, Haiti. We do work in India, as well as other countries in the continent of Africa. We'll be in Tanzania. We'll be continuing work in Ghana with our folks there. So a lot of different opportunities as things continue. We'd love to, like I said, love to take a Super Doge group and see what we can do to make a difference in the lives of a handful of people that we were able to touch.
Well, Ken, I'd just like to, first of all, thank you for all of the work that you're doing. I think it's, an incredible cause, and you literally are saving people's lives. So, yeah, first of all, I just want to thank you.
It takes us all working together, my friend. There are some people that are called to go and do, and there are others that are called to send and equip others to go. And like I said at the beginning, I really appreciate you guys building into the DNA of what you're trying to accomplish, the opportunity for a good to happen. We call it doing well by doing good. And I know that you're going to be blessed because you are doing well by doing good. And so, man, hats off to you guys. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The second thing I wanted to do was congratulate you because it does look like you guys have captured the heart of some of our audience, and you will be one of our charity partners as we are closing the voting off in about 2 hours here. So, so yeah, the next steps would be after the votes closed. We'll contact you, and then we'll work together to set up a wallet for you, and we'll start sending donations right away.
Perfect. Keith has been, just a hats off to Keith. He has been so helpful in helping me learn how to do everything. I'm new to Telegram as well, and so this has been a little bit of a learning curve. But Keith's getting me set up on a wallet, and he's gone over and above. I really appreciate you, Keith. Thanks for your help, buddy.
Takes all of us, man, and I appreciate you being very engaged as well. So the other thing I just want to mention, I'm gonna let myself go here for more questions, but we are gonna have the vote today at 1 o'clock with an AMA with the founder. It's 1 p.m. PST, so we'll have a timer up there. And we're also gonna have fathers.com on prior to that as well. So just keep posted in the community group for that. But Ken, I want to also know, for your team, with so many countries that you guys are involved in, is it you that, like, do you keep track a lot of this, or is there a pretty big board, or how do you guys structure or keep this going? Like, I couldn't even imagine the amount of working pieces that are involved in Water is Life, and I'm just wondering what you guys have found to keep that going, so you're working efficiently and not dealing with 100 countries of stress. I guess.
Yeah, exactly. We do have country representatives, and so and those people will help to quarterback on the ground. With COVID, we've had to pivot and do things differently. And so, you know, I've not been traveling, but we've done a lot with Zoom and WhatsApp. We do a lot of conference calls with our teams, individually in country and then together as groups. So we're able to strategize and plan accordingly. Yeah, this has been a challenge this past year or two. But we've still been able to get a lot of stuff done simply because we have great people that that volunteer or on the ground. And we also have a board of directors here. We're also registered as an NGO in several different countries, and so that also gives us a lot of credibility. One of the things that we're working on right now is a pretty huge corporate social responsibility project with a brand of beverage that I can't mention, but all of us have drank it at one time in our lives, and they're wanting to do well by doing good to give back to the country of Kenya. So when in the next couple of months, we'll be able to release the information, but pretty exciting stuff that we'll be able to do. We'll take a whole bunch of our little straw filters into about 40 schools, and then we will be putting in 40 to 50 of our sun springs, which are our solar and wind power water treatment plants, into those schools as well. So again, we use the straws as a Band-Aid to buy us time to come in with a sustainable solution. And for these particular projects, it'll be our solar and wind powered water treatment plant. Totally off grid, also provides electricity, which is pretty cool to these communities that don't have any electricity at all.
That's awesome. And just kind of going back to what we were talking about yesterday, are you actually at one of the sites that you were going to be at today? Just so everybody knows.
I am. Yeah, I am. We're testing. We're at a water treatment plant here in Oklahoma. That's where I'm home based out of. We just came back from Las Vegas, where we were working with the tribal nations and did a demonstration for them of raw human sewage run through the machine. Came back totally bacteria, virus free, and we're drinking the water out of the back of the unit. And it was nothing but human waste that was pumped into it from a septic company. Right now, we're at a water treatment facility in Norman, Oklahoma. We pulled water from the Lake Thunderbird, which they typically do, and then they post-treat it. But we were pre-treating it and came back. Water tests have already been submitted, but the water was crystal clear. Right now, they use a lot of lime to soften the water, and so they have these huge lime ponds that they have to dry for months and months at a time. Well, we're pumping the sludge right now into one of our units to take the water from that sludge and be able to reintroduce it back into their water treatment plant. So we're saving water, saving them the time and the energy to be able to deal with their lime deposits. They've got 5 or 6 of these huge ponds that they have to pump the sludge into, then dry it, and then 4, 5, 6 months later, after it gets all dried out, then they can empty them out and then fill them up again. So it's a nasty process. We're giving them the opportunity to reclaim a bunch of acres on their property.
Well, it sounds incredible, and it sounds like you guys got your hands full and a lot of work ahead of you. Since the pandemic hit, how has that affected your guys' traditional fundraising methods?
Oh my gosh! Well, not only with COVID, but with crowdsourcing, we're having to depend more on corporate social responsibility. There, individuals, and that to me is the greatest compliment, is when an individual says, hey, I want to sponsor a straw filter every month, here's $10. Or I want to sponsor a well, I want to give $100 a month or something. Those are the things that impact me the most. One of the things, I do a lot of speaking at schools, And one of the things that touches me the most is when college or high school or even elementary school kids, they get involved with helping kids across the world to get the safe water they need. Just to give you an example, one of the poorest schools in the country, 90% of the kids were on not only breakfast, but also lunch and taking food home on the weekends to their families. They came up with the idea that they wanted to raise some funds for Water is Life, and they wanted to do a week project where this third grade class, one class of third graders, were going to sell cupcakes and things that they made at home. And I thought, man, if they can do $100 and sponsor 10 kids, that would be absolutely a slam dunk, home run, hit out of the ballpark kind of experience. After a week, I went back to that school, and those kids had raised over $1,200. I was absolutely in tears. I could not believe it. Those are the kind of things that float my boat. But now with COVID, it's changed the giving world, and so we're having to go more to corporate social responsibility projects, companies that want to help their image even by doing good. And so it's definitely a changing market, whether it's people have run out of money, because they're giving to Aunt Sue's surgery or somebody else's deal that on a GoFundMe page. So there's only so many of those kind of dollars that are available. So we've had to pivot more toward the corporate social responsibility realm of business that want to help. Does that answer your question? Oh, we lost you.
Oh, he's unmuting.
Yeah, no, I that makes a lot of sense, and I was kind of expecting that type of response.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we'll be able to help, and hopefully we can drill a couple of wells for you in
Awesome.
Africa.
Let's do it.
That'd be great.
You guys got to come with me though. That's the commitment that you're going to make, right?
We'd love to. Our goal is to. I'd love to be able to get to the point where we're able to, stick you with boxes full of SuperDoge plush toys that you can hand out to the kids, right?
Oh man, that would be awesome. Yeah.
So,
I also just noticed in the chat there, Dan Grills just said thank you so much for your help. It's needed, and also, do you know a Joel Calm from Bad Crypto? He's associated with Water is Life? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Joel is actually one of our board members. Yeah, I invited him, but he's the one who connected me with you guys anyway.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. I don't know. So really appreciate it, Ken, and we'll get these uploaded as well. I'm gonna leave it open for a couple more questions if you want to shoot it in the chat.
Oh, you bet.
Or chime in now. But Ken is part of the Telegram group, same as the other charities. If you guys have any questions going forward, shoot them up there. Tag me if you don't get a response. These guys are super busy working on the charities and helping people. So I assume they're not going to be there 12 hours a day in the group, but I am for the most part. So tag me and we'll get some questions answered if they're there, or just try talking to them directly in the chat and you might get a hold of them here.
Perfect. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking time out today and spending a little bit of time listening to me ramble on.
Oh, it's our pleasure to have you. And Joel, it's good to see you as well. Chris, good to see you. I'm glad to have you guys here. Thank you so much for bringing this wonderful charity to our attention. I'm very, very grateful for that.
Okay, with that, we're going to end the chat here, guys, and we're going to get prepared here in about 7 minutes. We're going to start with fathers.com and have their one-on-one AMA. So I will end this and start a new voice chat, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
We'll talk to you shortly. Yep.
Cheers.